The city of Jerusalem awakened beneath the golden light of dawn. High above the surrounding hills stood the magnificent temple of the Lord, its white stones gleaming in the morning sun. 3 years had passed since the birth of Mary, the child promised by heaven. For Joachim and Anna, those years had been filled with joy beyond anything they had imagined. The sorrow of their childless years had become a distant memory, replaced with laughter, gratitude, and the wonder of watching their daughter grow. Yet long before Mary was born, a solemn promise had been made. If God granted them a child, they would dedicate that child entirely to His service. Now, the appointed time had come to fulfill that vow. With hearts both grateful and heavy, Joachim and Anna set out for Jerusalem. They carried sacrificial offerings according to the law, and beside them walked young Mary. Though only 3 years old, the child possessed a gentle confidence and a joyful spirit that brought delight to all who saw her. As they joined the stream of pilgrims making their way toward the holy city, Joachim looked upon his family and spoke with gratitude. "The Lord has been faithful to us." Anna smiled as she looked upon her daughter, "And today we return His gift to His service." Mary listened quietly as the great temple appeared before her eyes for the first time. Its towering walls and shining courts seemed to draw her gaze upward. When they arrived at the Temple Mount, they stood before a great staircase leading toward the holy courts. There were 15 steps in all. For generations, worshippers had ascended these stairs while singing the songs of ascent, lifting their hearts toward God as they approached His house. Countless priests, pilgrims, and worshippers had climbed those steps. Each ascent symbolized drawing nearer to the presence of the Lord. On that day, however, something remarkable was about to occur, something no one present would soon forget. As Joachim and Anna prepared themselves according to the customs of the law, they placed young Mary near the bottom of the staircase. The little girl stood quietly, gazing upward. The steps seemed enormous for a child of her age. The crowds moved about their business. No one paid particular attention to her. Then Mary took a step, and another, and another. Without hesitation, she began to climb. No one guided her. No one carried her. No hand reached down to assist her. She simply continued upward, one step after another. Soon, those nearby began to notice. Voices whispered through the crowd, "Look at the child. Who is leading her? No one." The murmurs grew louder as Mary continued her ascent. She did not stumble. She did not pause. She did not look back toward her parents. Instead, she moved forward with a confidence that seemed far beyond her years. The priests stopped to watch. The worshippers stared in amazement. Step after step, the child climbed higher. It was as though an unseen hand was drawing her toward the house of God. When at last she reached the top, she stood quietly before the temple. The morning sunlight bathed her in a golden glow. For a moment, the entire scene seemed touched by heaven. Those who witnessed it marveled. Never had they seen such determination in one so young. Among those who observed the event, many believed they had witnessed more than the actions of a curious child. They saw a sign that God had chosen Mary for a purpose unlike any other. Even in her infancy, it seemed that her life was already being directed toward the service of the Lord. The child who had climbed the temple stairs without fear appeared destined to walk a path prepared by God Himself. Though no one yet understood the fullness of that calling, heaven had already begun to reveal it. After offering their sacrifices before the altar, Joachim and Anna prepared to fulfill the promise they had made years before. The smoke of the offerings rose toward heaven as they presented their daughter before the Lord. Temple maidens came forward to receive the child. Anna knelt beside Mary, her eyes filled with tears. "The Lord gave you to us," she whispered. Joachim placed his hand gently upon his daughter's head. "And now we entrust you to him." Mary looked upon her parents with calm and peaceful eyes. Then she took the hand of the maidens who welcomed her into the temple. There she would dwell among the young virgins dedicated to God's service. For Joachim and Anna, the moment was both joyful and painful. For years they had prayed for a child. Now, because of their love for God, they placed that precious gift back into His hands. Anna embraced her daughter and prayed softly, "My child, may the Lord keep you all the days of your life." Joachim added his blessing, "Walk always in His ways." Mary embraced them both. Then she remained standing among the temple maidens while her parents slowly turned to leave. Anna looked back one final time. The sight of her daughter standing within the courts of the Lord brought both tears and peace to her heart. Their vow had been fulfilled. Joachim and Anna returned to their home, but Mary remained within the temple. There she grew in wisdom. There she grew in grace. There she learned to devote her life to the God who had called her from the very beginning. Beneath the shadow of the temple walls, the child continued to mature, watched over by those who served the Lord. Yet her story was only beginning. The little girl who climbed the temple stairs would one day play a role in the greatest story ever told. In the next chapter, Mary grows within the temple and gains favor with God and all who behold her.